4, 3, 2, 1.
Lady is here off the back end of the Women's Conference of Success Summit. Talk to us.
No, so what we wanted to do, we had a lot of ladies who inboxed me and texted me and asked if they could continue the panel. You know, they wanted, because a lot of them, if you notice, they didn't leave. They weren't ready to go home. They still had a lot more to talk about. And we didn't get to all of the questions. So I just asked these guys if they would be willing to come and let's do a live and let's kind of finish up the questions. So for all of you online, you know, you can drop your questions online. I will be monitoring my phone because they'll be sending me what you guys are dropping in online, and we want to make sure we answer your questions.
It's gonna be great. Listen, before we get started, we always ask you to do a couple things. Always gonna ask you to share this content. I believe that you're streaming because you're hungry, but if you share it, you'll be helpful. Because tonight is, I mean, you saw it Friday. I mean, we gonna give you the business. So I think everybody needs to hear this. So make sure you're sharing this video. Tag at least 3 people. If you're watching on via YouTube, make sure you text out the link and subscribe, because this is the good stuff you can't get everywhere. So I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, First Lady.
Okay, so y'all ready? Y'all want to just jump right in?
Yeah, come on.
So I'll get to the first question that we didn't get to on that Friday. What should I do to not waste time with a man that's not my husband? And I'm assuming if it looks like he's not gonna be my husband. So what do they look for? What should I do?
What should I do to stop wasting time with a man that's not my husband?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it depends. If he's not your husband because y'all aren't married, or he's not your husband because he's somebody else's husband.
Oh, ooh. I don't know.
If he's already married and he's somebody else's husband, you stop wasting your time by stop wasting your time.
Just stop wasting your time. Yeah, that's wild.
So let's
Hopefully
go
that's not the case. Hopefully that's not the case.
That's wild.
Let's go with the latter. I mean, let's go with the first, that they're not married and, you know, it's just maybe been a lot of time. Because, you know, we have talked, you and I previously, about long-term relationships, people that have been dating for like 15 years, you know. So maybe let's go from that standpoint. What should a woman look for? I'll say this: what should a woman look for that will give her a sign that this man is not gonna marry me?
Cloudiness. You know, if you feel like, if you feel like I just can't get my questions answered, a man that's not decisive in what he wants.
It's really good.
And you should probably either take some time to yourself or confront him and make sure that that's who you want to be with. That you're on the same page, because, you know, time is valuable. You can't get it back.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
I think, keep talking.
Yeah, so you just want somebody that's going to be decisive. You know what I'm saying? So if he's telling you, because I know, you know, men, we know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can tell you, hey, I really like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think you check off a lot of boxes. And, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, marrying you and having children and building a family with you. A guy that's just not really interested, or that's just kind of got you as a placeholder. He ain't got too much to tell you, because he ain't got too much that he ain't feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And I think if a guy tells you, I have no interest in being married, that is a sign that he has no interest in being married.
Facts.
Right.
Because many times a guy will say, I don't want anything serious. I ain't trying to marry. And a woman thinks, I'm gonna change him and I'm gonna convince him. And you signed up, you bought a broken vehicle.
And I think a lot of times too, you know, maybe people think, and either way, people think that, you know, you say that, but then if we are together for 2 years, like there's no way, like in my mind, like for me personally, there's no way that I would waste 2 or 3 years of my time knowing that a guy doesn't want it. But if you stay in that for that long, in your mind, you're saying, okay, this person could eventually, because we met when you were 20. So
20 something.
Yeah. So the difference between 20 and 25 is different,
Mhm.
So in your mind, maybe you think, okay, now he's at a particular age, so that should be different.
Mhm.
But let me ask you this. So if that particular, like if you say, I don't want anything serious, I don't want to go anywhere, then it's been 3 years you've been hanging out with a person. Do you change? Do you eventually say, hey, I want to, or really you're still just the placeholder?
I would, you want to take it? I would, I mean, to be honest, let me say this before I get to that. I would say you have to have that conversation first, regardless. If we talking about seriously dating, if we talking about marriage, hey, I'm gonna sit down at the dinner table, possibly the first or second date. To me, I would say the first one to knock it out, but have that talk like, hey, like I'm actually looking for marriage. I'm looking for my wife. I'm looking for my husband. I'm looking for something like completely long term and super exclusive. If we're not down with that, then it is what it is.
Mhm.
Now, if you're not coming in with those intentions and you just so happen, oh man, like I'm loving this girl. Like I really want to be with her. Okay, cool. But in the midst of that, have that conversation. Now, if things progress and say that guy 2-3 years on down the line haven't said anything but shows it, I feel like that's something that you can kind of like you can hold on to because he's
Mhm.
showing you too. Because sometimes as men, as we know, like we kind of don't talk out our feelings, and it depends on the man, but we really don't talk out our feelings. But if he's showing you promise, okay, cool. But still, hey, let's have this hard conversation, possibly a hard conversation. Like, hey, so what we really doing? Because
Mhm.
I want to go here, and I want us to be here. Like, I'm ready for kids. I'm ready for the
Right.
big house, all that stuff like that, whatever. And just have that serious conversation. Because if not, then we just 5 years, 7 years down the line, and possibly during that time, we probably done got a crib together. We got all this other stuff, and we legally married now, so to speak. So, we don't want them problems,
That's a
issues when we
whole
break
nother
up.
scenario.
Yeah, but typically, like I said, like you get to that 3, 4, 5 year mark, like we living together for real now. Because at that point, we like, oh, we in this together now. Yeah,
Ain't no
you know.
at that point.
Absolutely.
The what?
Ain't no pressure to marry at that point.
Right.
Yeah, you got everything you need.
Yeah.
And that's good. It's ain't no pressure to marry at that point. I
Right.
mean, because you're not going anywhere. You done committed. We got bills together. We're paying bills together. If we have a child together, there's no need.
Right.
Yeah. But if we Christians, let me say that if we Christians, we need to we need to get married for real. For real, I believe in marriage 1,000%. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
shout out to my wife, but like also at the same time, like we understand the power of being married as being one for real. I can't be one with you technically spiritually if I'm not really married to you
Mhm.
Mhm.
as a Christian man, as a Christian woman. Like technically you're a best friend at this point, So
So let me throw this in. When you talk about should that Christians should marry, I think Christians should marry when they are mature enough to be
Agreed.
married.
Mhm.
agree.
Because just because we love each other and don't want to fornicate and we like each other does not mean that either one of us are emotionally, financially, personally ready or mature enough to marry. And I think the problem that comes in when Christians marry uh, without being ready, it puts a blight on the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be the bride of Christ, you're supposed to be the image, and y'all bust up. And you don't stay married to try to make folks happy.
Facts.
If you're
That's
miserable.
good.
What I'm saying is, I think we go into this knowing what we're representing. We ain't going unless we know or we've done our best to be ready. Sometimes people trip, sometimes people change, but I just think we ain't run into it because we want to please the Lord.
I agree.
Okay. So that was good. All right. So
Put your questions in the
yeah,
chat.
make sure you put your questions in the chat. They're monitoring the chat and they'll make sure we get those questions. So what is hard about being faithful to one woman?
I don't think nothing.
Say that louder.
It's nothing really hard about it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing hard about it at all. And then again, like we said last Friday, it's a people thing. So you have to be ready to be committed to one person. And just because I said today, don't mean that I feel it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. And so you just have to find. It's a matter of maturity. am I mature enough to know that what I got is good for me in the long run compared to this quick pleasure, you know?
Mhm.
And that's really what it is about cheating. And I know it's a whole lot of questions about cheating. Men love to cheat, right? But this is the one thing I always say about cheating.
Like
A man cheats, he cheats with a woman.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Say that again.
if a man cheats, he cheats with a woman.
Okay.
You heard it. All right.
we get close.
So yeah. So I
So
think
what
it's
you're saying
a
is,
matter
why
of,
is it always about why men cheat?
right? It's a
'Cause-
maturity thing.
yeah,
Like,
because
he's
it's-
not mature enough
Yeah.
to stay committed to one person, and that's we come down to spirituality, to our faith, to our jobs, to our cars, everything. You're just not mature enough to commit to that responsibility.
That's good.
Am I committed enough to be mature in my spiritual life, to make sure that I pray every morning? Am I mature enough to make sure that I drink water every morning?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
good.
Am I committed enough to take care of my body?
That's good.
That's good.
All that feeds into your relationship. You can't handle that stuff on your own. The
Mhm.
relationship is gonna be out of pocket regardless.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
So
That's really good.
you know, it's all about maturity.
That's a great question. That's a great
So
answer.
how do you know when a man is mature?
Mm.
Oh, you can tell
Like how do you
by
know?
his behavior. Is he honest? Is he respectful? Is he consistent?
Mhm.
That's why you need to date people long enough to see them in multiple seasons.
Yeah.
You should date them long enough to see them in crisis, see them in good times, see them in challenges, because until you've seen how they navigate all those different seasons, you don't really know who you got, you know. And I want to see how you're gonna respond to life. And so you just monitor. I just think in dating, I guess you're just on the dating thing, you can't date with your heart open and your eyes closed.
Agreed.
Okay, so we got some online questions. There are so many single Christian women, young and old, involved in the church, but where are the Christian men and why aren't they involved as much? Are they dating women outside of the church to get what they want?
What?
What do you
I
ask?
don't.
So I think so I think what the question is so let me see if I can paraphrase. I think maybe the question is, so do y'all really want Christian women that's in the church, or do y'all really, as Christian men, go looking outside and not necessarily for Christian women?
Ooh,
Can I
answer.
say something?
Yeah, go.
I think
Sure.
I'm gonna say something better.
Talk
I
loud.
don't think there's a lack of, in some churches, yes, but in some churches there's not a lack of Christian men. There's a lack of the woman wanting that Christian man.
Oh,
Because
my.
you're so picky. And
Oh,
so
my.
because you're so picky of what you want, and he has to look X, Y, and Z, then you miss out on that Christian man because he doesn't fit the status in what you want. And so sometimes you got to lay down some of your statuses and pick up what the Lord wants for you, because he might not have a six pack, but he might love the Lord and love you with
That's
everything you
big.
got. So I think in some places, not all, but in some places, there's not necessarily a lack of Christian men that are available. It's just a lack of you wanting that particular Christian man.
That's good.
That's really good.
That's good.
And
You
actually,
know.
you gotta actually date too. Like, you have to date the people that's in church too. You just don't look from afar and being like, oh yeah, like he's serving, he's doing all this great stuff. Because we also know there's some bad Christian people in church too. You know, so explore the church, you know, the local church that you are in, stuff like that, whatever. Like, explore that, but don't just say, you know, there's a lack of Christian men out here when you haven't even, you know, service the land for real. Like, you just, oh well, because of the stereotype, because that's technically what it is.
Or
It's the
the particular
stereotype.
church that you're
Yeah,
part of.
yeah, or
you
that,
know, 'cause
like-
y'all, Rebirth got a lot of men.
We got a ton of
Yeah, man.
active. That was
He know for a
We
fact.
do. We have a
we got
lot of
ton of active, faithful serving men. I ain't trying to answer all the questions, but I think let me say this. This is just me. As a Christian, if I was dating, I'm not necessarily looking for a Christian woman first. I'm not going to church to find a woman. I'm going to find a woman I like doing things that I like.
Yeah.
And you just happen to, and you're a Christian as well. Like I mean, obviously I want an attractive wife. I want a wife that's going to take care of herself. And so the thing that attracts me the most is not because you speak in tongues. It is because your hair is right, your nails are right, you smell good, and you behave properly. Now, you add Christian has to be in the mix, but if it's just you love the Lord, that ain't enough for me to stay married.
Yeah.
I have to like you. I personally like her. I like being with her. And so, it ain't Christian first.
Facts.
That's just me.
That's true.
You say
That's
you
true. And that's real. And I
That
think,
is
a
funny.
lot of times as women, we probably
Just
need to
want a
hear this
sister.
because we need to say, I may be Christian, but I'm not connecting with these
Bro.
particular people.
Listen, you love the Lord, but you just the truth. You don't manage your finances well. You're not fun. You don't doll up, because every guy has the kind of girl they want.
Right.
And so you loving Jesus does not overtake the fact that you don't dress attractively. And I ain't say seductively, attractively. And I think many times Christian women want their Christian convictions to override all the other stuff, and it doesn't.
Okay, ladies, y'all heard that? So listen, this is gonna be real good. I wish we should have invited the Salter group in here.
I'm
I
so
need an
tired of Salter
audience.
group. I'm so
I need
tired
an
of Salter
audience, 'cause
group.
that Salter group will be getting y'all real together right about now. Okay, so what questions should we ask? This is from another online viewer. What questions should we ask before getting married? What are some good key things that we should ask,
That's a good question.
a man before getting married?
Come on, Ryan, give me one.
I think, of course, the basic stuff. And I guess it just depends. So are we serious? Are we just I'm
Well, I
assuming
guess
that we're
if you're
getting
getting
serious.
I guess they're getting ready to get
Yeah,
married.
you're getting ready
to get married.
Or,
I think
you're getting serious and you're heading toward maybe the engagement and all that type
I would
of
say
stuff.
the biggest thing is just expectations. What are your expectations that you foresee your husband doing or your wife doing? And so, because what your mom did or what both of your parents did might not equate to what's going to happen here
Right.
because of what they did. So, I would say, how are we going to raise our kids together? What are beliefs together, and then too, I think knowing that when they answer these questions might be different 3 years from now, and not the questions. I'm sorry, the answers. So just because they say this right now doesn't mean that's not going to change later on. But I definitely think starting out and getting ready for marriage, I would just say anything that you expect. Hey, my husband, I've always dreamed of him taking out the trash every time.
That's really good.
The trash. I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of women who's like that. Well, every man don't think like that, so you better say that. You better have that conversation. I think just little different things like that. I think that are really important. Just to say, hey, these are my expectations that I foresee my husband doing, and then see if he agrees with those things.
That's really good.
Ooh, I got a good
I
one.
agree.
Can I answer that? I ain't gonna answer no more
No,
questions.
you can answer. That's what you're on the panel for.
I ain't trying to take over your broadcast. But I know we do this in our premarital counseling. Certain things that we need to ask is, that's great when you talk about expectations. One of the sessions we do in premarital counseling is going through life. What are your expectations? Who you expect gonna take out the trash? Who's gonna discipline kids? Who's gonna take care of the car? All that kind of stuff. Now people lie, but what we do is, we haven't done the last couple of times, but things you should be asking is, how much debt do you have? What is your credit? Do you have any lawsuits? Do you have? No, I'm serious.
No, we like
No, I'm
literally
serious.
had.
We
Yeah.
need, and so we would have them pull a copy of the credit report, because if I marry you, I marry your debt too, and I need to know what I need to know. I know I want you, but I need to know, do I want that extra $100,000 of debt you got? You owe me to let me know, because I'm taking on all your stuff. And so, do you have any kids? Is anything I need? Before we marry, is anything that I'm gonna find out that's gonna shock me? Tell me now.
Yeah.
So I think those questions that you should ask as you're getting serious.
That's good. Okay. So from another online viewer, when is it okay for a man to let go of his mother to cleave to his mate? When is it?
These are good questions.
It's always okay for him to do it. It's
Right.
just he has
That's
to
what my
do
Bible.
it.
That's what the
It's
words
okay
say.
for him to do it.
It is biblical.
So
Right.
maybe they mean how can I
Mama's boy.
talk to my
Boyfriend or
Man, I
husband?
don't know. She said man. I was trying to see if it was a husband.
Yeah.
Like, so, I got a different thing in my head about whether it's a boyfriend or a husband. So
Yeah.
y'all go.
I guess with the boyfriend situation, I mean, it's again, if we go on the journey of going to, getting married, I would say that because that's the only way I kind of see it. It just takes steps in big communication, like we talking, like for real about this. Because if it's a problem for you, you have to talk about it. Like that's just how I feel. Like you have to talk about it.
Mhm.
And again, like if he's showing that he's kind of stepping away from the family or a mama's boy dynamic, so to speak, or whatever, a little bit, just to show you how important you are and stuff like that, whatever, then this is a good sign, But if he's not, if he's always saying something about it, or if he's like real stronghold, like, nah, I got to take mama to the church every Sunday, and then I'm gonna come get you, and then like doing all this other stuff, then yeah, man, this probably gonna be a problem, even if you
Right.
do say yes,
Right.
when you propose. Marriage wise, to be, hey man, like, what you doing, bro? Like you can't keep, because now this the, and it's tough for me to say, this is the only woman in my life nowadays, so to speak. This is my first. This is who I prioritize now. Sorry, mama, because that could be the conversation on the back end. Like, maybe that's the thing too. You don't want to let go of mama for real in that aspects, because mama did, a lot of stuff. It could be a situation where he was, mama was the only parent. So like all of those things, so it could be like, again, going back to the basics, like it just communication and just watching each other out and expectations, like you were saying, Ryan.
I would say too, just to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit, is like kind of like what Tyler said. What is he clinging on for, almost in a sense? Because you have to be gracious also as a woman to know, is he taking care of his mother?
Right.
Like,
Right.
Is it something that he has to do? He's
Right.
been, for some men, he's been the only man in this woman's life.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
just to
Wow.
say that,
Yeah.
I got married to you, now I have to leave this woman
Like if
behind.
there's like an illness or
Right.
things that needed to, right.
Right. So not to say that if it's not, then I understand, but to also, have an understanding heart if it is something, along those lines.
So that'll be something that, again, the questions and that you'll have to have
Oh, yeah.
conversations prior to getting married to know, hey, I handle you being a caretaker?
Right.
Because you are a
That's
caretaker.
big.
And
Yeah.
can I handle that? If
Yeah.
it's some things like that. So,
That's
okay.
huge. That's big.
All right. This is online viewer, can you date a woman who is not saved and you grow together?
Don't ask Tony.
Agreed. No, I'm playing. 'Cause y'all should know my answer.
I think that would be tough, especially for a Christian man that is striving to grow in his faith. To have a partner that's not thinking like him, that's not expecting the same type of things, that's looking for a different support system than what he is.
That's good.
It's
That's
already
really good
division at the base. So
That's a really good answer.
we can grow on two different platforms and try to touch each other. You know what I'm saying? But when it gets shaky, I'm gonna get your finger every now and then.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
crazy.
Yeah.
And so
Hey,
now,
man. Doc. Doc.
Free.
That's my nephew.
But I think it's truly important to be on the same base. Like I think spirituality and what we believe, that is going to be the baseline of everything. Even though, like
And
you
not
said,
necessarily in the same place spiritually, but at
just
least a base.
at least the foundation
Mhm.
Sure.
is Jesus.
Sure.
Because if not, like we were saying earlier, we said that being Christian is not good enough, and it's not. But it is where we got to start.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So after all that, you know what I'm saying, can we start from from Christianity and then lips, hips, fingertips, and all that got come with it? Then now that's helping me out, but at least the base is Christianity.
That's very good.
So we have a question that I actually think Ebony could probably answer. if you know what, just get ready to come over here and swing a chair. Come on, just swing a chair, because I swing over there by Tor and lean in loud. because I don't know if you guys are necessarily, but you could. But the question is,
The cameraman looking like, how I'm gonna do that?
we're gonna swing Ebony in. Come like right here, somewhere. Yeah. See if we can swing her in.
That is
Ebony
funny.
is a licensed therapist, and so we're gonna let her swing in and see if she can give her thoughts on this.
Right here.
Because whoever asked that question, I wanna and just kind of so talk loud, Eb, so we can hear you. But the question
Turn
is,
cat corner.
how do you get over losing a loved one together? I lost my aunt, and he lost his grandma.
Mm,
Yeah, you can, and then if the guys have something, so I think that may be
That's a
something.
good
you know.
question.
So it's hard because grief is a process. Sometimes when we're grieving, we don't necessarily show love to the people around us because we take it for granted. Because I'm grieving and you should understand that I had a loss, so you should love me more. You should be anticipating what it is that I need. You know, I just lost my cousin and I'm going through a hard time. Well, I just lost my mama.
Yeah.
My mama trumps your cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Be more
That's
caring
big.
and considerate of me.
That's
right?
actually
Because
good.
put your hurt down because mine is more because this person meant more. But when we lose things, it's not really about who it is, it's how it impacted me. Right.
Mhm.
Who this person was to me. So it's hard
Mhm.
because both of us are going through something at the same time. So we have to go to therapy, go to counseling.
Yeah.
Heal separate and together. What
Oh,
is
man.
it you need in that moment? How can I support you and how can you support me at the same time so that we both can be okay?
That's good.
That's dope.
I got another one on the same lines. If y'all want to talk, if y'all want to still answer.
That's a great answer.
Do you want to answer something else?
That's okay.
Y'all wanna- okay.
She's smarter than me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, how
Yeah, that
did
was
you
good.
get your significant other to understand anxiety without them being pushed away or feeling pushed away?
It's all you, Doc.
I just talked to somebody about stress and frustration today because sometimes people think it's an excuse. Oh, I'm stressed out, I'm anxious. The other person, like, you're just making up excuses. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's the basic education level. If you don't understand what anxiety really is and how that looks for me, you're going to think I'm making excuses. But how can I help you understand what this is without making an excuse? What does it really look like? Am I just nervous sometimes? Or do you notice when we're around each other or around other people and I pull away? Like, I'm not okay and I'm expecting you to support me in a way that you're not able to. So now I'm mad because you're not showing up for me or you're not doing the thing. So us knowing ourselves too, what does my version of anxiety look like? Like, how do I present and how can I tell you how I needed to be supported in those moments? It's gonna be key.
That is so crazy.
So good. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ebony. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I thought that was perfect. You were here.
No, I think if I can throw something in on that, I skipped 3 questions and didn't make an answer. I think that is so dope though, because what I hear is being empathetic in your relationship, being willing, even though I don't feel this, I don't feel sympathy for you, meaning I feel sorry for you, but I feel empathy. I'm trying to put myself in the boat that you're in so that I can be more sensitive, understanding to what you're facing. And I think many times people don't do that. Like I told First Lady when we first married, she would have, what was that, allergies?
Sinus.
She'd have sinus things, and I never had sinus issues. And so she'd be, she'd do that thing. and when she'd have a sinus flare, it's like she just done. We done. And I was like, it ain't no but sinuses. And bro, around about 8 years ago, I started having some seasonal allergies. I was like, babe, I'm sorry. I'm like, no. I was like, no, I see what you've been going through. And the thing about it is, if I'm going to be a caring spouse, I have to try to put myself in that person's position. And if I really love them, if they say it hurts, even if it don't hurt me. One of the worst things I think people can say is that don't hurt. Well, you don't know what hurt. It don't hurt you because you ain't get hit. It hurts me. And so asking in that time, you said it wonderfully, how can I support you during this time? And just understand that even though I don't get it, it's real.
That's good.
Thank you. I ain't gonna make you stay. Yay, thank you, Ebony.
I hope you guys are sharing this. This is solid gold. This is so dope.
Okay, got another online. How would you handle, or how would men handle if you're dating a girl and her family doesn't like you? Like, what do you do? with
The
that?
family don't like the guy.
Yeah.
You got it.
No. So can you say it one more time?
So how do men feel? How do men handle, or how would you handle if you're dating a girl and her family doesn't like you?
Oh, okay. I think it just depends on the guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really give a crap.
Yeah.
You don't really care. But there's some dudes that want to be accepted in the family, and so I think it just depends on the guy. I think you have to feel that out with your man, and maybe even have conversations with him, or just fill it out, kind of how he responds to being around them. If you kind of sense that he doesn't necessarily change himself when he's around them, and he's kind of cordial. He may not talk a lot, but he's cordial. He probably don't care. Or he could be dying inside and just trying to fake it. I think you just have to have honest conversations. I think it just depends on the guy. So
It's good. I think for me, it will depend upon how she defends and protects me.
That's good.
If her family don't like me and they mistreat me, and she sit there and watch it, then that tells me this relationship is over.
That's good.
Because you're not protecting my interest. You
That's
know,
good.
it's the same thing when spouses say that a mother or mother-in-law abuses a spouse. It is not her job to debate with my mother for my mother to respect her. That's my job to say, that's my wife. You don't have to love her. You ain't even got to like her, but you're going to have to respect her.
Yeah.
And if you can't, if she can't come to the party, I ain't coming to the party. And that's just what it is. And so dating, whatever, if you're not going to protect and defend me when I'm trying to, if you can't put me ahead of them, I need to move on.
That's good.
Okay. So what do you consider the ideal relationship?
Ooh.
The ideal
I
relationship.
don't think it is one. I think every relationship is different. Like
That's very good.
What might be compatible to one person, they might need it, and the next person might not need it. So somebody might say, I want my man to be all lovey-dovey, and I've been with girls before, and they'd be like, don't touch me, like I don't want to like, so they don't like it, you know what I'm saying? But some girls like it, and you know what I'm saying. For me, like I like to be, affectionate. I like the physical touch and stuff. So if a woman can't accept that from me, then it's going to automatically turn me off. So, but it might work for y'all, So
It's really good.
It depends on the couple. Compatibility is key in all of it.
Yeah, man.
that's good.
Anybody else?
Not quite. I think he kind of hit on the head. I was just gonna say, kind of be a little funny. Like y'all see this stuff on Instagram. Y'all be wanting y'all man to walk down the aisle and cry. We ain't gonna. So all of us ain't gonna do that. Now, this is real. So if your man you gonna walk down the aisle and you look down the aisle and he just smiling, or he just looking serious and he not crying, it's okay. Y'all just get married still. Everything gonna be all right. He'll
You
probably
didn't
cry
cry
later.
for me. You don't love me. You don't love me. You didn't even cry.
You didn't cry.
No,
I didn't cry either.
I would. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
kidding, that didn't
No.
happen. Okay.
I'm a G.
So, I got this question. Then I just got a really interesting one. I may need more context, but this question is: how do we help our husbands when we see they are hurting?
Ooh.
I think we answered that. Did we answer that?
I don't know, but I'll answer it. You help him by asking, this is crazy. How can I support you?
Yeah.
Because the thing
In this moment,
is,
yeah.
you support me the way I want to be supported. And so you only find that out either when you know me, we've been together for a while, or you ask me. And if what I say I need to support me don't make sense to you, don't tell me that shouldn't make sense. As Ebony said earlier, you don't know how this affects me. And so if I say, to support me, just give me some private time, just let me, be by myself for a little while. Well, you don't want to be with me? Well, you ask me, what does it take to support me?
Yeah.
That's what it takes, And I was talking to somebody after church a couple weeks ago. This is crazy. And young lady, she and her boyfriend dating. And she said something like, he doesn't open up. He doesn't tell me how he's feeling. And I can tell when something's wrong with him. And I ask him what's wrong, what can I do? And he don't tell me. And I said, well, the truth is, he probably did tell you. Men are not necessarily wired or developed enough to be very clear with our desires outside of our sexual desires. But our emotional desires, we're not necessarily wired to say, this is what I need because it makes us feel, and we feel it makes us look weak. So what men will do is they will test the water with what they want.
Mm.
And they will mention in passing what they want to see how you're going to respond, to see if you're safe to be naked with.
That's good.
And when in passing I tell you that's what I want, you be like, that don't make no sense. Or I told you and you didn't do it. My mechanism says either she ain't gonna do it, don't ask no more, or if you ask, she's still ain't gonna do it no way. So don't even worry about it no more. And so I'm like, he probably has been telling you what he wanted. You either didn't understand that he was making a request, or you may have diminished his request, and that's why he's not talking anymore.
That's
So
good.
question from the woman's standpoint. So how when you say that, like you're not wired
Okay.
to just be so clear. So then at some point, we're not mind readers.
Absolutely.
So how do we know when you're voicing something you need in support? So like if you say, I love when you cook collard greens and fried chicken, collard greens, candy yams. And you can say that like 5 times, but unless you say, will you cook me? Because I'm just thinking you're saying you like it. I don't necessarily think that means go cook it. So, because I'm like,
That is so good.
okay, because I say all the time, I love lamb chops, but that don't necessarily mean I want lamb chops in that
All right.
moment.
Mhm.
So how do we know, or how do we decipher when it's a request?
Mhm.
I think
Let me say this,
Go
or
ahead.
like
My bad.
when it's a request, or so that we won't diminish things. Because like if you said to me, "Ooh, I love chitlins," and I'd be like, "Oh my God, that's so nasty." Well, I'm not trying to diminish that if you eat chitlins. I'm just telling you chitlins nasty. But then what if that may make you feel like, oh well, see, she ain't even trying to.
Yeah.
So
I
where do we
see that.
go?
I see that. You want to answer?
If he's saying it multiple, like if it's multiple times, because in that scenario that you gave us, if he's saying it multiple times, something should go off and be like, oh, okay. Like if he's using that same lingo, oh, I like basketball, and I know that you don't go out or anything like that, whatever, but I would love for, a summer or whenever the game goes and we go to Atlanta and go see the Hawks play.
Now, if you say that, that's clear. I would love to go to a game.
Right. Now.
But if you just say I like basketball, I mean every man I know like basketball.
Right.
So that doesn't mean
So-
go to a game.
So I'm saying this too though. If he doesn't say it that clear and he just say I like basketball, Christmas comes up, like it's little stuff that you catch, and if he's saying it multiple times, it should be like, oh, okay. Let me dig a little bit about that. Let me figure out. That should be another prompting question that you should have. And when it comes to the emotions, I know this it's kind of different. But if he's saying, hey, I kind of want to be alone in a moment or anything like that, whatever, I would still ask that, prior question, like digging question, like, hey, like, are you really okay? Is it, what's going on? And if he says nothing, okay, cool. But if it comes up again, just notice and just watch on what he's doing and stuff like that, whatever too. So
No, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say you got to evaluate. So women want us to do this to them.
Yeah.
When y'all make passive suggestions for us to do.
Yeah.
I think you have to do that exact same thing with your man to be able to evaluate, look at, and pay attention to. So I agree with Pastor Doug, because I might say something and I might never bring it back up because I see how you responded that first time. And so that situation might not ever come up. So I think just being careful with the way that you respond to everything, and not being second guessing, like thinking about everything too much, but just thinking in your mind, is this a moment where he's trying to tell me something and I may not be reading it, or I'm just expressing my emotions and feelings, not knowing that this is something. So I think it's just evaluating. And I think too, when he repeats it all the time, me and PD had this conversation a while back. I think a part of being evaluating your man is like having that confidence of just knowing, like, this is my man and I want to be, this is going to sound bad or maybe even controversial, but I want to be the best woman that I can for this man. And so I'm going to see what my man likes and I'm going to study him almost, in a sense. Because I feel like there was a day and age where once again might get a little controversial. I apologize if it is, but where women was just confident and like, this is my man. Like, and I want to. I was actually listening to an interview with Mary, and one of the Marys was just talking about.
Did you say Mary and
Yeah, she said
Mary
Mary
and
and Mary.
Mary?
That my boy.
Mary, I'm sorry, my bad.
Ebony, come
and
take a
Mary.
spot. Ebony, we got a
Mary.
vacancy. We got a vacancy. That's like M&M's.
But she was talking about the same thing, how she wanted to take confidence in her man and take care of her man and all these different things and the different things that she had to learn how to do. And so I think that's one of the things that you got to learn how to do is just evaluate your man and
I think that's key.
and learn your man. So
I'll say this. I think you said, well, that's not a man or woman thing. That is a relationship thing.
Yeah.
I want what the girl said. I was learning my man when I was earning my man.
Yep.
In the scripture, the Bible says, dwell with them according to knowledge. So I need to know her. Like, I know she never told me, buy me salmon. But I know she'll eat salmon every day. And so when we go to restaurants, when we're trying to see, I'll be like, hey, they got salmon right here, because she didn't tell me that, but I've studied her. I watched her. I know what she likes. But she did a great job of telling me certain things that this is what I want, but I made a commitment. Like, I'm attentive to her. If she says stuff that, like, what got us in financial trouble was, if she says something in passing, my Superman kicked in. I got to go get it, because my mind is, if I catch something that she says, I'm going to bring that home. And it wasn't always something she wanted. She was just in passing. So that's why I got in debt. But I just think you have to make the commitment. I want to study and learn my partner. Like, I tell you, this thing was crazy. Last Christmas, my family got me some of the dopest stuff. No, last birthday, Jalen bought me a big box of 40 caliber bullets. I almost cried. I'm like, because you know what it says? You paid attention to me.
Yeah.
No, anybody else on the panel got bullets, you probably think, but no, she knew my daddy loved guns. And that said to me, you've studied me. You know what I like, and you thought about me.
Yeah, that's good.
So let me ask you a question. So let me ask it. So I'm be controversial.
Mhm.
So I hear what you're saying, but to me, studying your spouse and knowing the things that they like is different from your spouse trying to voice a need. I think that's different to me. So, like, if I'm studying you, I know you love bullets, and I know you like shooting. So I bought, like, okay, I went and bought you, like, Jalen got you the bullets. I bought you the gun range certificates or whatever.
Mhm.
But if you have a need that you're just kind of like saying in the air, I don't necessarily know this is a particular need. Like, the bullets wasn't a need for you. That wasn't an emotional need. The gift certificates
Very
wasn't
good.
a need
Absolutely.
for you. And so that's why I think the fine line, where do you define, I'm studying my spouse and I understand what they want. I get it. And, I'm a study them, like, with salmon. I'm not asking for salmon though. If you go out and buy me and say, hey, I brought you, like, you go Nikki's and you bring me Nikki's. I don't necessarily ask for Nikki's, and I didn't necessarily need Nikki's that day, but thank you, for thinking of me and loving me and bringing that, and it fills my spirit and my, all that. But if there's a need that I have,
Absolutely.
like, there's an emotional need that needs to be met. Like, if I need to say, hey, I'm overwhelmed and I'm struggling and I don't need that to me, that's different.
It is.
Yeah,
I think we can sit here and tell you what men think. But I think across the board, men and women, we need to do a better job of communicating.
Right.
That's very good.
A lot of times we don't, we take it for granted that this person's going to serve me. And Tyrone,
Yeah.
last Friday we were talking about, before we went on the panel, we were talking about how everything grows from serving.
Yeah.
Right. And
It's really good.
And he talked about how he served his wife, and how he does just all this different type of stuff around the house and for her and whatnot. And I think that all plays a part, but I can't necessarily serve you if I don't know what you need or the things that you fall short.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like God even tells us how He wants us to evangelize.
That's very good.
And so when He asks us to serve, and He wants us to serve in that way. You know what I'm saying? He wants us to give. He wants us to give cheerfully.
Mhm.
You know,
That's really
and
good.
he says that. You know what I'm saying? And he's a man. He says that.
That's really good.
So I think it's important for us men, you know, like that bullet, we need to communicate a little better. And
Absolutely.
even though sometimes it might feel a little castrating, we need to communicate.
That's really
and be
good.
willing to drop that wall, especially if that's my woman, because you want her to be confident and that's my man, well, that's my woman.
Yeah.
That's really
You know what I'm
good.
saying? And I want to be able to voice my opinions in a safe space and be able to trust that you're going to take what I say and use it for the better good. And so, and in that moment, women, you got to be willing to take that and actually put it in a safe place and create a safe space for that man to talk.
Right.
Because
Right.
if he does open up completely to you and you think that he's being soft, and you don't support him in the way that he needs to, it's never going to happen again.
Right.
That's really good.
I think it's important to be transparent on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think when you talked about making your request, because we talk about this in 3M, when men make their request, you need to you should do it before you're angry, right? And you should be able to express it without uncontrolled emotion, and don't whine. Don't tell me you'll never rub my back. Well, you sound like a punk. That sounds whiny. Well, you never rub my. No. Hey, listen, I really when you can, I appreciate back rubs whenever you feel like it, whenever it crosses your mind. And if you ever wonder, do I want a back rub? The answer is yes. But you can't be. You'll never do this. Well, that's negative reinforcement. You're not going to guilt me or manipulate me into serving you better. Tell me what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
And that goes both ways.
I think it's 7:48, so I think we maybe have 1 or 2 more questions we can get to, but
I hope you guys will share this. This
don't-
is so dope.
It is great. I don't know who put this in, but they said, do men view widows differently? And if they want to put a little more context, because I don't quite know what that means, like differently in relation to what. So I wanted to put that out there. So whoever asked that question, if you can just add a little more context, and then we're gonna go to this question.
Mm-mm. I don't think men do. Let me say this. I don't think you can generalize that. I've never heard a man say that's an issue for him, but it doesn't mean that it's not.
Well,
You
and
know.
I don't know if they mean it even from an issue. I don't know what the context
I don't know.
is.
It wouldn't bother me unless she, kept comparing me to him and still had a bunch of pictures of him around the house, and wanted to, on his anniversary go to the grave, man. Nope, let the dead bear dead.
I'm alive now.
Absolutely.
I'm alive.
Yeah. So no, that's the only reason it bothers me.
Yeah, man. It's
Do
okay.
it.
You
We're
can
in
post
the-
them up on Facebook.
Hey, we're in the bedroom. She got a picture of Henry on the counter. I'm like, hey. Oh man. No.
Oh, this is good. Okay, let's go with this one, and then we'll see if they give us a little more context on the other one. What are some of your non-negotiables?
Ooh. Oh, y'all got to answer that.
Look at me. Oh man, one of my, I love you, babe. I would say just not communication. Period. Like I feel so when it goes down to the last question we talked about, it's real big. If you want something, please tell me. But also don't just tell me straight up. Like tell me in a way that I'm going to receive it, because I'm telling you beforehand that I'm not going to receive it this way. Please say it in this way, like in different forms, facts. For instance, so if you're saying, hey, I would like for you to do something in that format, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, that's what's up. But if you say, hey, can you do this for me? I'm gonna be like, yeah, no problem. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's communication is big for me. 2, you gotta be clean, dog. Like that's all right.
Mhm.
And my clean may be different from other people's clean,
Sure.
but you have to be clean. You have to be organized. And 1,000% for me, and I'm gonna let it go because I kind of do got a lot of them. I ain't gonna lie. But the last thing, like, you have to be a praying woman. Like
That's
that does it for me. I don't care what nobody said. Like that's it. You have to be a praying woman. Again, my wife does a great job getting up super early in the morning at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and just goes in. Like I want to say the whole block here, sir. Like so that just does it for me. So yeah.
You touched a lot of areas. So he took my answer.
Talk up,
Okay,
talk
my
up.
bad.
Yeah, he took my answer. But one thing I'll say, I would like my woman to be a natural nurturer.
That's good.
Yeah, I need you to be able to, I need you to be able to be there.
That's dope.
That's good, bro.
So it's no knock against women that don't have that trait. You know what I'm saying? My mom was like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm used to.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I want a woman
That's
that I'm
real
gonna be able
good.
to feel good around, that's gonna be able to support me. You know what I'm saying? A woman that's gonna be able to soothe me in those moments, which I'm talking about. In those moments, be able to approach it with some kind of tact. You know what I'm saying? And approach it how I need it to be approached. And make me feel like I'm where I need to be.
That's good,
Dope.
bro.
So good. Mine's a little bit more simple. I think mine is just kind.
Ooh.
Just a kind person. I don't like nasty people. So
I'm
just
gonna
kind.
do that. I don't like nasty meat.
Yeah. So just nice, sweet people.
What? Why you
That's mine.
Come on, DT.
Gotta be Shay Taylor. No, I'm pretty simple. I don't know. I could do have non-negotiables. Like you, I need a woman that's going to take care of herself. When we were dating, she probably remember this. When we started getting more serious, I asked her, I said, hey, I really like you. I'm digging you for real. I just need to ask, do you wear hair rollers to the grocery store? And do you wear house shoes outside?
That is a great question.
Oh,
Now-
I thought that was the funniest thing.
That
ever.
is
And
a
when she was like,
great
oh, I'm like,
question.
yeah, we're going to the movies tonight.
That is a great question.
No, because that was a non-negotiable for me.
That's what's up.
I don't want a woman that's not going to take care of herself. And I always say, I appreciate the fact that she's a girly girl. I don't like no manly girl. I don't want a woman I got to compete with for volume.
Yeah.
I don't want a woman I got to compete with for who's leading us. And, I mean, we alternate roles in areas that I tell her, you much better at this than me. And I say, I concede. I've in some instances, I told her, I said, certain years I know she excels well in. I said, I'm not even intelligent enough. I'm not informed enough in that area to even debate you. Whatever you decide, I'm going with.
That is good.
I don't even know enough to even have a response. So I have to trust that whatever you say is the right route because I don't know anything about that.
That's
You know,
good.
I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to compete with you for who's going to be the anchor of this family. And you can't talk to me crazy. I just got this thing in my head. You can't talk to me rough.
That's good.
So that's why he never says anything about all that shea butter I leave in his car. Because he be like, well, it's your skin, so.
Yeah, your jeans gonna be soft too. Cause she sat in that chair first.
Oh, it's shea butter.
It's a man. It's a look.
Shea butter.
If she was a thief, she'll get caught because her shea butter fingerprints and everything she touched. Shea was right here.
Well, I think it's 7:55.
That's good.
So do we?
Oh, I saw one dope one.
It was in the day.
Uh-huh. Somebody put on there said, should you trust a man's words or his actions?
Oh, they didn't give me that one. That one.
Should,
Okay, let's go.
Should they? Okay.
Should you put more trust in a man's words or his actions?
I feel like some of these questions are.
Yeah, which should hold more weight, a man's words or his actions? That's what it was.
I was gonna say the same thing. Faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer, I would say that. I know again, going back to kind of what we talked about earlier, like sometimes as men, sometimes it's kind of hard for us to kind of express what we want, express how we feel, stuff like that, whatever. But if he's walking this stuff out, because that's what we really do. Like we workers, like that I believe that's what God, created us to be 1,000%, and more. But that was the first thing that he wound up doing for us is making us work. So if we moving in the right direction and doing what you think that we're, or assuming that we're doing stuff like that, whatever type of ordeal, like I trust that walk. But also if he's saying it and walking it, oh, you got a gold mine. Like that's it.
Yeah.
But if he's talking more and he ain't doing nothing, like he's saying, oh yeah, I'm about to go apply for this job, or he got these jobs, just whatever, and he on the PS5 doing this thing, oh yeah, it's a wrap. Go ahead and kick him out, big dog.
Absolutely.
Like it's a wrap, at that point.
I say actions more than words.
Yeah.
I would say actions more than words. This is dope passage when Solomon was building the temple, and the Bible said that when they brought the stones in, the stones were carved outside of the city, and the people in the city never heard the hammers, which means I don't want to hear all them hammers. Just bring me some bricks. I don't want to hear all that. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And I'm gonna do better. And I need to see your actions. And I think again, I'll say this. I think that could be why. First question, I need to go back to it. Why women will hang with guys so long is because they're saying the right thing and not doing the right thing to support that, and they've put trust in what they said, but ignore what they see, and I just think that's fallacy. So I need to see your faith, not just hear your face.
That's good.
That's good. Well,
That's me, though.
This has been amazing.
This is dope.
I think this was so good. I hope you guys really got something. I don't know. This may be a quarterly thing. We may need a little
This is dope.
Hey, welcome to our podcast. No.
All right.
This is dope.
But I am so excited. Thank y'all, guys.
This is dope. This is
I
dope.
appreciate y'all for
This is
being
dope.
put on the chopping block. I told you we should have invited the Salties.
You're right. Next time.
They would have cut up. They would have been ready for y'all. They'd have gave y'all the business tonight. But thank y'all so much, and I'll turn it over to Pastor.
Okay. Listen, man, I hope you guys got blessed tonight, man. We absolutely love doing this. It's the mission of our church to teach people how to live. And so I pray that tonight you got something that's going to help you live a more vibrant life, not just survive, but actually live and thrive. And so that's our prayer. I will say this too. The key to living a thriving life is a relationship with Jesus. Jesus says that, he says, if you come to me, all you that labor heavy laden, and I give you rest for your soul. I'll tell you this. One of the things that I know will help you develop a healthy relationship with people is developing a healthy relationship with Jesus, because Jesus becomes the model for how I want people to treat me.
That's good.
That he can be upset with me but still love me. That he can be bothered but not come up missing in my life. And so as you draw closer to Jesus, you see the picture of a healthy relationship, and not just in this natural life, but also in eternity. I want to give you an opportunity. You say, I need to get to know Jesus. I want to make him my Lord, or I want to come back to God. And, thirdly, I think a great option is just to join a dope church. It's a dope church. This church will change your life. If you want to do either one of those three things, I'm praying that you be bold enough to make that decision tonight. Right there on the screen, they're going to put the QR code for our Connect card. You can scan that QR code, make that decision, and be a part of a really life-giving church, or turn your heart to God, or visit the website, rebirthchristian.org/Connect card. And we talked about giving. We always believe in giving. We're a giving church. We do all the things we do because of faithful givers and tithers and sowers like you. And so the giving options is on the screen. I always encourage you to be an automated giver. Don't fight with your flesh, but you make that commitment and give your tithe, offering, and seed. So tonight, and I'm believing God that he's going to show up for you real quick, real soon, in a real supernatural way. Can't wait to see you Sunday. Sunday's going to be dope. Sunday's going to be dope. Back to school bash, Friday. Friday, what time?
6 p.m.
Friday, 6 p.m. Parents, bring all your babies. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have food, free haircuts, school supplies, music, fun games, just a ton of cool stuff right there at the church. So, y'all having it? Did I lie? Y'all got all that stuff? You got all that stuff.
Goodness.
I'm going to be like,
Not on live.
We got all that stuff.
Yeah. So 700 23rd Avenue Northwest. Love to see you Friday. Friday at 6 p.m. is gonna be real dope. And so I love it. Man, I hope you guys got blessed tonight. Before you log off, make sure you share it. And thank you all for being on tonight. And all is well. Holla back.